Hello and welcome to the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and without further ado, let's take you in to the bulletin with Dorothy Namuyomba on sign language. In our top story, the Prime Minister has urged leaders across the country to become role models in wealth creation to drive socio-economic transformation. Nabanja was officiating the opening of a 2-week leadership transformation training for leaders from selected districts at the National Leadership Training Institute in Chankwanzi and Tambo Ideological School in Kaweweta, Nakaseke district. Let's have a look at the details.
Nabanja emphasized that leaders have not fully embraced their roles in empowering the communities they serve, particularly by setting an example in improving household incomes. She highlighted that the government has initiated a nationwide sensitization campaign to help leaders enhance their oversight roles.
These are leaders who expect to monitor government programs. As a leader of government business, I work closely with them because I cannot be everywhere. And so they help us to monitor government programs and oversight work.
The Prime Minister further noted that this training was sanctioned by President Yoweri Museveni to aid the country's socio-economic transformation.
The guidance of the President of the Republic of Uganda. So it is in the same training. We are here to transfer knowledge, and knowledge transfer is also another gift. You may transfer knowledge that someone does not receive it. So I request that you receive all the knowledge that you're going to get from here.
Minister Yuda Olera Bason, in charge of Veterans Affairs, and Jennifer Namayangu, responsible for Bunyoro Affairs, praised the initiative, stating that empowering leaders is crucial for improving their effectiveness. Members of Parliament attending the training acknowledged the importance of local leaders in mobilizing communities, stating that organized leadership is vital for societal development.
Every parish should go barazas, and this is how we are going to improve on this socio-economic transformation, which is the vision as far as the Prime Minister's office is, but it underpins the general overall vision of the 4 principles of NRM, where socio-economic transformation is key.
The issue is socio-economic transformation. The President has been very gracious to us, provided programs to transform our people socio-economically. The PDM, the Moga, the Youth Livelihood, Women Fund, now we have growth. So what are we doing as leaders?
The Deputy Commandant of Nali, Colonel Henry Serugo, explained that the training includes several ideological presentations aimed at mindset change and transformation. Leaders attending the training at Nali have been drawn from the districts of Kiboga, Masaka, Yumbe, Chibuku, and Chibale, while those at Kaweweta are from Nakasongola, Gomba, Mbarara, Kalungu, and Mbarara City. The 11th day course, which is expected to conclude on Saturday, September 7th, 2024, is organized by the Office of the Prime Minister in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government and the Patriotism Secretariat. The course has attracted over 1,000 leaders from 10 districts, all camped at National Leadership Training Institute in Oliver Tambo Training School in Kaweweta. The theme of the training is enhancing leaders' capacities in monitoring government programs to improve service delivery. Charity Marion Imnat and Ismail Kasoha, UBC News.
The Inspector General of Police, Abbas Biakagaba, has announced plans to deploy marine officers in the Albertine region to safeguard the area's oil resources and counter terrorism threats from neighboring countries. He made this statement while presiding over the graduation of 52 marine officers from an 8-month maritime induction course at the Police Marine Base in Chigo.
1, 2. At the event, over 50 marine officers successfully completed the 8-month maritime basic induction training course, which focused on equipping them with combat, survival and rescue skills. During the pass-out ceremony, the trainees demonstrated their newly acquired skills, including rescuing drowning victims, expert driving techniques, and inducting water raids.
The enemy group is giving up. They also have guns. Yes, they have guns also, but they are being overpowered.
They showcased their ability to handle illegal activities on Uganda's water bodies, underscoring their readiness to protect and defend the country's natural resources.
So the course started with 55 participants, and along the way, we had 2 of our trainees pass on, and that is PPC Ajaga Musema, who drowned while on training, and PPC Okele Job Paul, who succumbed to a long illness of lung cancer.
Our focus is to train trainers, because if we have more TOTs, we shall be able to train as many and reach out. Because of, for example, Marine Base, which has so many bases, we may not bring everybody here.
The Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, emphasized that the deployment of marine officers in the Albertine region would be increased to ensure the security of oil resources and address terrorism threats from the neighboring countries.
The biggest threat we have on water is terrorism, and I discussed again with Commandant and his team 2 days back. Part of this team will be deployed Albert, where we have our oil and gas resources to make sure they patrol terrorists crossing from DRC Congo to come and attack our oil projects in Tilenga and Kingfisher. The biggest concern is to ensure that we protect our boundaries, we protect our waters, but all that being done in an effort to secure the people of Uganda. And that is very critical. I've kept on sharing it with everyone, that we must realize our positioning in as far as the country's aspirations are concerned.
The newly graduated marine officers were also cautioned against engaging in unhealthy behaviors, particularly alcohol misuse and promiscuity, with a focus on the risks of HIV. Despite the challenges faced by the institution in providing training, the Uganda Police expressed its full commitment to working with the Marine Police Commandant to address existing challenges. Sula Kagugube has compiled this report.
The Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, has called on the people of West Nile to remain hopeful for the imminent commencement of work on the 103.08-kilometer Koboko-Yumbe Moyo Road, a World Bank-funded project. Now, according to UNRA, most of the approvals required for the full commencement of this project have been secured from the World Bank, except for a few outstanding environmental, social, and road safety assessments, including a section of the campsite for the contractor.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Our border fire!
Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! Has Nabole Stadium opened its doors once again?
Fire!
While you were moving in, you were the 12th player. When Uganda Cranes needed you the most.
Fire! Fire!
Through our famous wins against Tubakunda and our unlucky losses, you stood firm, supporting even louder. Now, as Uganda Cranes take on South Africa and Congo this September, South Sudan in October, and play our second legs against South Africa and Congo in November, bring even more fire! Because with your support, Uganda Cranes is unstoppable! Uganda Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda Cranes. Together, we are unstoppable.
Officially commissioned the construction of Koboko, Nyume, up to Moyo Road.
Since the groundbreaking ceremony in May 2024, officiated by Uganda's Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, road users in West Nile have eagerly awaited visible construction work on the Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road. UNRWA project manager for the road, engineer Alex Otim, confirmed that most approvals under the covenant between the World Bank and the government of Uganda have been obtained, with only some environmental assessments remaining.
The issue of how and why is it taking long? Auxiliary sites is any other establishment apart from the road, the quarry, the campsite, where you're going to get material from. Okay? Those plans have not yet been what? Approved. So you will realize that as much as we have been allowed to move along the road, that's why we're doing forward maintenance. We have submitted for the proposed campsite, and we're only remaining with like 2 approvals like this. Out of almost 25, we are remaining like with 2.
However, the delay in addressing these assessments has impacted the project's implementation timeline, as the grant period is set to expire in December 2025.
And the delays have affected the project implementation period, right from procurement, and we are having the grant period until December 2025. I would, at this point in time, say that we have actually 1 year of implementation. Definitely, you can see the time frame is very short. A road like this, you cannot finish it in 1 year. We have also already hinted to the bank that we will need extension, because the delays that have been occurring, you can see them, they are really delays which are not apportionable as a blame.
In response to the deteriorating condition of the road, UNRWA has assured the public that the World Bank has cleared the way for maintenance activities to proceed.
So we ask the bank, please, on an emergency aspect, let us at least maintain this road so that it is passable, so that business continues. But we cannot keep our hands folded when the people are actually getting stuck. So the bank accepted that.
The contractor, Zongmei Engineering Group, alongside UNRWA, has warned local leaders against soliciting bribes related to the project, stating that such actions will result in legal consequences.
Even in our contract, we have to sign a declaration of how we shall avoid, or how we, in our policy, we don't entertain corruption.
The World Bank approved financing for the Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road Corridor project on September 20th, 2020. The project, fully funded by a $130.8 million grant from the World Bank's International Development Association IDA window for host communities and refugees is the first road project in the world to receive funding from this window. The government of Uganda is implementing the project through UNRWA. The project aims to enhance road transport connectivity in selected refugee hosting districts of Uganda and to strengthen UNRWA's capacity to manage environmental, social and road safety risks. Joseph Odama, UBC News.
The Minister of Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomosi, says that government has completed the digitalization of healthcare services in the country. This initiative is expected to improve the overall treatment of patients by enabling experts to share medical notes across various health facilities.
The Minister of Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomosi, says Cabinet approved this arrangement as a means to enhance service delivery in major health centers.
The importance of science in facilitating socio-economic transformation.
Through this system, doctors can consult with one another on the best approaches to treat emerging diseases.
That we need to embrace technology, we need to embrace innovation if we are going to handle delivery of health care much better than the way we do it.
Dr. Baryomosi was officiating the 5th Health Innovation Conference organized by Infectious Disease Institute at Mulago Hospital under the theme Integrating and Scaling Innovation into Healthcare Programs and Systems.
You will find even the X-rays and the other radiological devices which are coming are now digitally manipulated for you to be able to read them. So if you remain in the old state where you don't embrace technology, it becomes a challenge.
The Minister of Science and Innovation, Honorable Monica Msenero Msanza, highlighted the government's focus on introducing numerous innovations across various sectors.
For us to catch up, we remained a bit behind. The first industrial revolution passed us, that's why we stayed remaining in nature. Second, third, they passed us, we are remaining in nature. And nature can no longer carry us. So science, technology and innovation is the only pathway for us.
She emphasized that these innovations are grounded in research and thoroughly tested to ensure effective service delivery.
Here in Uganda, we still want to deliver health the same way. You know, even for me to get a diagnosis, to measure my temperature, I have to go to hospital. I have to take a car and go to the hospital or a border, and yet in most of the world now that is done remotely using technology.
The principal of the Infectious Disease Institute at Mulago, Dr. Andrew Kambogo, stressed the importance of applying technical expertise in patient care, advocating for collaborative discussions among doctors on treatment.
They go to Iran and they need to access health care. You may not have the benefit of their previous medical records in that part of the country. However, if you have a networked electronic medical record system, it really doesn't matter geographically where the individual is when they access health care.
Dr. Martin Valaba, the conference organizer, stated that the event aimed to develop better patient treatment strategies across different regions of Africa.
It presents an opportunity for us to quickly access information regarding healthcare services, but also within the context of what the conference has been about is also identifying the credible sources of information regarding healthcare.
Benon Mokwaya, Richard Chirembeka, UBC.
Kasese District continues to grapple with the challenge of accumulating non-recycled garbage at its local dumping site. According to Caroline Zawede from the Climate Change Institute, Uganda, the Kasese Municipal Council's dumping site urgently needs specialized machinery to manage non-recycled materials, which would significantly reduce the volume of waste.
Kasese district is facing a challenge of handling accumulated non-recycled waste at its local dumping site. The site requires specialized machinery to manage non-recycled materials, which would help decrease the amount of waste. During her visit to Kasese district, Caroline Zawede, an official from the Climate Change Institute Uganda, emphasized the need for such machinery. Zawede explained that much of the waste collected is not recycled, complicating waste management efforts.
There are some plastics that are not recyclable. Among the 7 types that are on the market, only 4 are recyclable. The 3 products of plastics are not recycled. So those ones require an incinerator.
She also pointed out that waste management has not been a priority in Uganda until incidents like the Chitezi landfill collapse highlighted its importance, serving as a wake-up call for leaders.
Waste in Uganda isn't a priority now, but with the Chitezi issue, I'm sure the government and the scientists that have been seated in their offices are yet to come up and bring solutions for waste in Uganda.
The LC5 chairperson of Kasese district, Erifazi Muyindi, urged landlords in every town to collaborate closely with authorities to prioritize waste management.
We are encouraging the landlords to see how best they cooperate with the management of the town councils and see how they can contribute towards having this refuse well collected.
He also revealed that proper garbage management could generate income through value addition if modern technology is employed at all levels.
If garbage is sorted, that one that can decompose and is decomposed, it can form into something that would generate and add value to the production of food in the form of, instead of going for fertilizers, you would go for the decomposed garbage that would form into something that would be used as manure.
The Principal Health Inspector for Kasese Municipality, Christopher Kabagambe, stressed the urgent need for heavy machinery to handle non-recycled materials at the plant. He commended the partners working on the ground to ensure that Kasese town remains garbage-free, benefiting the entire community.
We are as well encouraging other companies to come and work with us. We don't ask them for money. We want partnership in order to clean our town.
Charity Marian Imnat and Moses Muthabali, UBC.
Following the recent landfill disaster in Chitezi, which affected over 1,000 people and claimed more than 40 lives, numerous organizations have stepped in to assist the victims. The Vice President of the Uganda Society of Architects, Olo Jerome, expressed concern, stating that they too were impacted as part of the community they serve. He made this statement while donating various items to those affected in Chitezi.
The Uganda Society of Architects, an organization presenting the architectural profession in Uganda, has today donated relief items to the victims in Chitezi. These items include diapers, sanitary pads, baby formula, baby sheets, baby clothes, cotton wool, maize flour, millet flour, among others. Architect Olo Jerome mentioned that USA, along with their intern students and the Honorary Secretary, Mr. Patrick Omakech, decided to stand in solidarity with the victims.
But we would like to come in as architects, be able to support in working with the planners, working with the local authorities, so that we are able to provide solutions that are going to avert such situations.
Patrick Omakech also expressed sympathy to the widows, orphans, and everyone who lost property and loved ones.
For today, we would like to wish the victims and the victims' family quick recovery from what has happened, as we continue to support them.
Call upon other bodies out there who can still stand in the gap and support these people with whatever little that they can. This is going to give these people a sense of belonging and also hope that there are people who are thinking about them.
The Assistant RDC of Kasangati, Kokodelik, thanked USA and other organizations for their support and called upon others to sponsor the orphanage education as they have lost their parents.
Aina support yonna ajje ayongera okuleeta abantu bano babeere nga bafiiringanga abaliwa abali ewaka.
Kenneth Mulindo, one of the victims who lost his home in that tragedy, urged the government to compensate them so as they can find a place to settle.
The Bishop of Jinja Diocese, the Right Reverend Charles Wamika, has called on believers, especially mothers, to unite in peace and let God guide them to success in all their endeavors. Bishop Wamika led the diocese's Mother's Day celebrations, known in the Catholic Church as the Day of Saint Monica.
In every August, the Catholic Church commemorates Mother's Day under the Mothers' Union. In Jinja Diocese, this year's celebrations have been marked as St. Monica's Day. The diocese has celebrated St. Monica's Day in Busoa Sub-County, Busoa Parish, Bugiri District. The Mass was led by the Jinja Diocese Bishop, Right Reverend Charles Martin Wamika. In attendance were leaders including Bugiri District Woman Member of Parliament, Agnes Takawechwe.
Busoga government yatuwa skilling center enakabango abachala buli mugaze kwino okugemagana n'abakozi ba government ababa mu district edenda ulode tuvamu tusobole okuganulwa mu bintu government yetuwa.
Taka challenged the Catholic fathers to join hands with mothers in building a developed society.
The Men's Guild is really not active, my Lord Bishop. And that one has affected us as a region and as a country. Kubanga abasada okubanga balekerera obuvunaanyizibwa bwabwe obw'amaka obw'okukulembera obw'okubanga bamentalinga abaana be bazaala kituviiriremu okuba n'abaana abaliikula omuwawa naddala abaana abalenzi. They are not mentored. Ezali kubalinga ku abaami baliwa twagana abavubuka nga bavaire damage bavaire biki abaami baliwo okwegesa abaana bano.
The colorful event was graced by mothers from across the Jinja Diocese.
In Ankole sub-region, Mbarara City, a remarkable story of community empowerment and environmental innovation is unfolding. Led by Immaculate Mayanja Tumusime, the Mbarara City South Women's Entrepreneurs Moga Sacco has transformed a modest investment into a thriving enterprise, producing eco-friendly charcoal briquettes that are changing lives and driving sustainable growth.
After receiving 7 million Ugandan shillings from their Moga Association, the Sacco has been producing eco-friendly briquettes since 2019. The chairperson of the Mbarara City South Women's Entrepreneurs Moga Sacco, Mayanja Immaculate, says they are leading a successful charcoal briquette production venture. These briquettes, made from the affordable materials like sustainable energy, particularly in the Ankole sub-region's hotel sector.
I really used to feel I need my other side income. And this I feel it is independent, and getting a Moga money, it was like fuel in the engine.
The success of this small-scale investment highlights the potential for economic-driven development, with a monthly production of 4,000 briquettes, generating over 6 million shillings in revenue.
The input is much less than the income. So why I even have future dreams now about it to expand and put it at another level of a conveyor is because of the profit that I've got from it.
This project stands as a beacon of socio-economic empowerment, creating jobs and promoting environmental sustainability.
We already have the plan of using the residues through the killing method to make our own dust. We shall be able to supply even at a much lower cost, because it's very easy to get the dry agricultural waste.
The peer exchange visit by Chigezi sub-region Moga Sacco leaders to witness this success underscores the importance of knowledge, sharing and collaboration among SACCOs.
Plant that I'm going to take back first of all is how to boost our SACCOs, like make them to develop and get more than what we've been having.
I have learned about governance, savings. Moga circles in Kigezi, they are doing a good job as exemplary in the Moga program.
In Rampara district, leaders like Medab Katushawe of Kinoni Sacco, who grew their savings from 600,000 in 2012 to an impressive 2.8 billion with over 4,000 members, remind Kigezi Moga Sacco leaders that self-sufficiency and a strong cooperative spirit are key ingredients for long-term success.
We started from scratch, but through sacrifice, we have reached the level which I have told you. So through sacrifice, these people can develop their circles to the level where we have reached.
The achievements with Moga funds in charcoal briquette production highlight the power of local innovation in driving economic resilience and environmental stewardship. As Moga leaders from the Kigezi sub-region visit to learn from this Ankole's success story, the message is clear that with determination, collaboration, and a focus on sustainability, even the smallest ventures can spark significant change in our communities. Charity Marion Imnat and Robert Bwaita, UBC News.
The Association of Teachers of French in Uganda is conducting a French camp aimed at strengthening capacity building for teachers and students, with Kasese hosting the Western Region Tour. Now, this project is part of a 2-year, 288, 450 euros program funded by the French government.
These are fun-based, activity-based, ludic-based camps where we've been here for the last 5 days with learners from different secondary schools in central Uganda. We had about 23 schools represented, and the members were close to 500 learners from the different schools. And we had a series of activities whereby we were trying to expose to learners to learning a language in a context, in the Ugandan context, but also outside classroom, because these learners in their schools, the only person they know who speaks French is their teacher. But this camp gave them an opportunity to meet students from other schools, to interact, to exchange, to share, so that they can know, even when I go back to school, I'm not alone. There are so many other students out there who are learning French, and we are struggling because, you know, some people have that attitude that French is a hard language.
So our students, we taught them how to use French in their daily activities, how to improve French in their daily activities, in games, in their cooking, in whatever they are doing, in sports, whatever they are doing, because we observed you cannot only learn French when you're just in classroom. You have to create more time for these people, because the classroom time is always so limited. So we had to create this extra time, this 1 week, to come and facilitate them, to come and enable them improve their French. Through many activities, we had sports, we had French cuisine, which is the cooking. You teach them the ingredients and the procedure in French.
The Ministry of Health has raised concerns about the overwhelming number of early childhood and teenage pregnancies where mothers do not breastfeed their babies, depriving the newborns of their essential nutrients found in the breast milk. This was announced by the Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, Director of Public Health, who represented the Minister of Health at the closing ceremony of the Breastfeeding Awareness Month at the Ministry headquarters in Kampala.
Breastfeeding is one of the most effective ways to ensure child health and survival. However, contrary to World Health Organization recommendations, fewer than half of infants under 6 months are exclusively breastfed. The World Health Organization dedicated the month of August as Breastfeeding Awareness Month worldwide.
We have a duty in these, especially government health facilities or government facilities, even here, Ministry of Health, when I inquire, do we have any space for breastfeeding mothers?
At the conclusion of this year's campaign, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the civil society organizations like Action Against Hunger, UNICEF and private hospitals, launched a campaign to establish breast milk banks across the country. The event commenced with a band procession around Wandege and Chadondo. All speakers emphasized the importance of breastfeeding and its nutritional benefits for infants.
The principle of breastfeeding a child already in every culture. And we need to go back. When we have celebrations or commemorations like this.
Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, representing the Minister of Health, expressed a concern over the increasing number of young mothers who do not want to breastfeed.
Teenage pregnancies and early mothers who have not been trained to breastfeed. Secondly, their bodies are not so ready to produce enough milk. We want them to be encourage them to breastfeed exclusively for the first 6 months and also to breastfeed for up to 3 years on all mothers, including the young mothers, including those who have HIV, to exclusively breastfeed.
Dr. Nicholas Moga from St. Joseph's Hospital in Wakiso explained the possible reasons why some mothers choose not to breastfeed.
So once we have a proper antenatal care where mothers start and mothers as soon as they find out, we see them make pains all through their time of antenatal visits. People to them during the day of baby, their babies teach them the benefits of breastfeeding and encourage them. They will have challenges as first time mothers. Sometimes the nipples are so flat. Sometimes the pain comes every time they breastfeed their baby because it's not vaccine. The mothers need to be told about these challenges, they should expect it, and as well they should be ready to support this man.
Non-government organizations, including Action Against Hunger, are leading efforts to promote breastfeeding among mothers.
I'm joining the advocacy and the event of promoting the World Breastfeeding Week because we all know and accept that breastfeeding is extremely important, especially in the first 6 months of a child's life and up to 2 years. And previously, when we were all growing up, it was not for mothers to breastfeed. However, as time has come in, there's been a lot of external influences. You see the outcomes change. People don't want to breastfeed because their breasts are going to suffer. And because there are a lot of myths that has come around breastfeeding.
Their support includes establishing breast milk banks across the country.
The government has so far, with support from other partners, been able to establish 3 breast milk banks, one in Zambia, one in Lago, and another one in Bali Regional Referral Hospital. The idea is to work with partners so that we promote people to donate milk which can be given to the children whose mothers are not available or have challenges in having a chance to breastfeed.
Most of our work is in refugee settlements, refugee hosting districts, and these banks are not there in those communities. And we all know that refugee mothers have some challenges that are unique to them as refugees. They are struggling to find food for themselves.
Health experts note that breastfed children perform better on intelligence tests, are less likely to be overweight or obese, and have a lower risk of developing diabetes later in life. Additionally, women who breastfeed have a reduced risk of breast and ovarian cancers. I'm Ivan Juko and Viola Nansubuga for UBC.
Seta High School has emerged as the top performer in the 3rd edition of the Uganda National Secondary Schools Debate, Poetry and Public Speech Championship 2024 held at Lakeview Secondary School in Jinja. Under the theme, Amplifying Students' Voices for the Attainment of Sustainable Development Goals, the event focused on equipping the young generation with essential life skills that go beyond the classroom.
Fix these horns of Africa that stand firmly on this perfect body, together with these humongous cherries that stand perfectly right below the slim and slender waist. I looked because the themes were about marginalized societies, and among the marginalized societies I looked at the Muslim women who dress so decently but are so disrespected. And I also looked at some men that take family planning as a joke, making women give birth 24/7. You find a woman having 7 babies and one who's not even a year. So literally I got the empathy from there, because I felt bad about it. I had to write about it and I had to present it to people.
The best moment was that we worked together as a team, and the bond just kept growing bigger and better at each passing moment. And we also had a chance to interact with different people, because the whole purpose of the tournament is for you to learn and become better. And we believe that by each and every step we passed, it actually just kept getting bigger and better at the end of the day. And the most tense moment was always the moment when they have to announce the results, because it's either you go through or you go home at a point, or you go through and you have to now compete with tougher schools, with better schools, with more experienced schools. So yeah, that's what made it a little tense. But
we were the regional champions for Mukono region, and now we are the national champions for the same tournament. We really thank God for that achievement. We thank the administration for all the assistance rendered so that the team can reach to this level, and then the debaters, the public speakers, the poets who really made us be at the top. I can't say enough.
Njagala okubiriza amasomero gonna mu Uganda nti okubeera nti abaana tubawo omukisa, okubeerako buli mwana buli kintu kyalinamu talanta tumuwa omukisa okubeera nti akikuza. Kuba tumanya ayinza okuba nga biology gwasomye ate enkya si yagenda okubeera nga yamuyimirizawo mu bulamu, ate kiyinza okubeera ekintu ekirala. So abaana tubawe emikisa, tubeere nga emizannyo gyonna tugikuza ne talanta zonna nga tuzikuza mu masomero gaffe.
The Uganda Natural Chemotherapeutics Research Institute, Kampala, has graduated over 40 students in the study of occupational herbalism at level 3 of the Uganda Vocational Qualifications Framework under the Directorate of Industrial Training. Now, this qualification now arms the graduates with credentials to manufacture, research and prescribe herbal medicine both locally and internationally. Over 40 students have graduated as occupational herbalists at the Uganda Natural Chemotherapeutics Research Institute in Kampala. The Directorate of Industrial Training in Uganda collaborated with the National Chemotherapeutic Research Institute to develop a training program aimed at enhancing the skills of practitioners in traditional and complementary medicine.
So the UVQF Uganda Vocational Qualification Level 3 certificate that they are getting today is by Uganda Higher Educational Qualification, comparable to your Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education. So these people, they can really stand for MP and other positions in government.
This partnership was established to address the need for standardized training and qualification in the field, particularly in light of the Traditional and Complementary Medicine Act of 2019.
When COVID-19 hit the world, and every country were to their constituency, our head of states had to think through that. Why don't we make our own medicine? This was after the very first Chinese who reported the case of COVID-19, and shortly he died. They found in his notebook, he had quickly written down herbals.
The Traditional and Complementary Medicine Act of 2019 in Uganda was developed in response to the growing recognition of the role of traditional medicine in the healthcare system of Uganda, as well as the need for regulation to ensure safety and efficacy.
Some of you actually have already gone that far, and we appreciate that. But we encourage all traditional healers to be modernized, to be standardized, and benefit from what the market offers.
Before, there was no policy
guiding the practice of traditional medicine. And yet we have a lot of indigenous knowledge. People are endowed with indigenous knowledge. Information keeps generating and, adding on. But there was no concerted, organized effort to make this a policy and an act of parliament.
The act, passed by the Parliament of Uganda in February 2019, calls for the setting up of a National Council of Traditional and Complementary Medicine to oversee the regulation of traditional medicine practitioners and practices.
It's the government of Uganda that has trained us, has given us the certificates, so now we can operate officially, we can go to the pharmacies, we can treat customers.
We are making a memorandum of understanding with the King of Bunyoro, and we are in close contact with the King of the Chabazinga of Musoga. Even I will come there, don't worry. I will look for those ones. I want also to look for the Mori, because we have opened office now in Soroti. But the ultimate goal is to work with these influential people to preserve trees in this country that are medicinal.
A report from the Cross-Cultural Foundation of Uganda suggests that over 60% of Uganda's population depends on traditional herbal medicine due to accessibility, affordability, and cultural familiarity to manage common conditions like malaria, digestive problems, respiratory issues, skin diseases, reproductive and childbirth complications. Wadulo Makanold for UBC News in Kampala. The United Nations Population Fund and Diamond Trust Bank have partnered to empower girls by improving menstrual hygiene education in Uganda's marginalized communities. The US $106,458 partnership will also enhance integrated sexual and reproductive health and rights in refugee settlements and host communities.
Not confident, and if you do not have a confident girl, it's very hard to move on in life. So these things are very important for us as Diamond.
Sako Papa Patetu Amusoka Kati nukuru mukaganga satubulu mwezi guno gwa munana jangu kudams water kuragime grounds tunyumirwe ngokuyingira jinja kube emitwalo ebiri naye tiketi wogigulira ku MTN Momo ogifuna ku mutwalo gumu ye ya VIP ya mitwalo 3 kati nonyiga *165*2 noti hash oba kozesa Momo app wegulire tiketi yo ku MTN Momo ku bei rahisi tosubwa abayimbi bonna ab'e Kampala n'ab'e Busoga Papa Patene tegekedwa Douglas Rwanga ne kutusibwako MTN.
Together we're unstoppable.
Welcome back, and now in the world of business, Uganda Airlines, the national carrier, celebrated its 5th anniversary of commercial operations this week, marking a significant milestone in its journey of growth and expansion. Now, since its revival in 2019, the airline has made remarkable strides expanding its network, increasing passenger and cargo volumes, and enhancing its operational capabilities. With a new 10-year strategic plan focused on route and fleet expansion, the airline is poised for further growth.
Uganda Airlines is celebrating 5 years of commercial operations. Back in 2019, Government of Uganda took a bold step of reviving the national airline, and to accelerate this, it launched with a fleet of 4 new regional CRJ-900 carriers from Bombardier. These were followed by the delivery of 2 wide-body Airbus A330-800 neo aircraft, adding a touch of long-haul capability to the airline's fleet. Since then, Uganda Airlines has expanded its network to 13 destinations across Africa and Asia. According to the airline CEO Jennifer Bamuturaki, the past 5 years have laid the groundwork for a successful takeoff.
So 5 years down the road, when we look back, we've come a really long way.
we completed our 3-year strategic plan, and this strategic plan is what we are concluding because it ends in this financial year. Where we've come from in terms of our revenue, we grew it from about a contribution of 5.7% to 90%. I believe we will go more than that with all the routes we are launching. Our passenger numbers also grew. That we grew that from about 50,000 to now coming close to 500,000. So the airline has been growing.
She adds that another key factor contributing to the airline's success has been its foray into cargo operations and self-handling.
When we got our certification of including the Airbus on our AOC, we started our cargo operations. This was in 2021, late 2021. And that saw us grow quite a bit from about 1 ton to 7,000 tons in terms of our cargo.
The airline has also made significant strides in improving on its operational efficiency. Despite facing challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic and regional conflicts, the airline CEO asserts that they've remained resilient and adaptable.
But by 2020, we were expecting to operate around 18 routes. Not just COVID, there was war as well. In Khartoum, that war happened. In Congo, there's been a change in the landscape that has affected us. We were supposed to have been operating Lubumbashi, Goma. That hasn't come through, even when Goma is in the Bassa. We've encountered a lot of regulatory challenges where countries don't just give you the route. We had Cape Town planned. We have been asked to join Saturn. So there were not just COVID. A lot changed in the landscape.
Looking ahead, Uganda Airlines says they are committed to sustainability and innovation as European aviation regulations tighten. The airline is planning to integrate sustainable aviation fuel into their operations to align with the global environmental standards.
We've planned knowing that Heathrow was going at least 20%. Now, the type of aircraft, the Airbus A330 that we operate, the engines already have provision to take on the sustainable aviation fuel. Now, Uganda Airlines will not be landing in Heathrow. We'll be landing in Gatwick. But that doesn't excuse us. That's why I mentioned to you that this is something we have in plan to make sure that by the time we start operating these routes, we must be SAF ready. We have put a paper ready to be presented to our board for them to be aware.
Another mandate for the airline is to see through government's plans of transforming Entebbe International Airport into a regional aviation hub, utilizing the hub and spoke model. The airline's chief commercial officer, Adedayo Olaui, says their operations are closely aligned with this ambitious goal.
We intend to be able to connect people from Lusaka and from Harare to be able to go to London. We intend to be able to connect people from Abuja to Nairobi, Abuja to Jeddah, connect people from Abuja to London, Abuja to Mumbai. So that's the strategy that we are focusing on, ultimately trying to develop Entebbe as the next big hub in East Africa.
The airline's load factor is also expected to increase with the launch of new routes. Adedayo highlights that Uganda Airlines has rolled out a new 10-year strategic plan that outlines goals for further expansion and acquisition of new aircraft.
There's been a clamor for us to get mid-range aircraft, primarily because we would like to right-size some of our routes, because we have some routes that have now outgrown the CLJ. We have some routes that we can't efficiently support with the CLJ, like our Johannesburg route, where we are constantly weight restricted. So that has brought about the need for us to have mid-range aircraft that have more seats and more range than the CLJ, and which can also serve as an alternative for the 330 on some of the routes that we presently fly. So the government has graciously agreed for us to order 4 A320 neo aircraft. which are mid-range aircraft, and also to get 2 787 Dreamliner aircraft to join the fleet over the next few years.
Currently, Uganda Airlines has fostered domestic economic growth by supporting local suppliers and contributing to the local economy. The airline recently revealed that they had pumped over 100 billion Ugandan shillings into the economy, boosting businesses and creating jobs. Samuel Senono, UBC Business.
And in sports, the 2024 Paralympics Games have entered day 4 in Paris, France, with thrilling action. Let's have a look at the details.
Uganda's long-serving 1,500-meter T46 runner David Emong didn't rest with expectations in the final, finishing 9th with a time of 4 minutes, 1 second and 48 microseconds. Neutral Paralympic athlete Alexander Larem won the relatively fast race with a time of 3 minutes, 50 seconds and 24 microseconds. The Vice President of the Uganda Paralympic Committee, Suleiman Mayanja, talks positives he picked.
What we have witnessed here is that the organization in the village is perfect, more especially for a wheelchair user or accessibility in general. They have provided for gadgets for everybody to use. Internet is perfect. Food, the helpers or assistants, all that is okay. Regarding the games and athletics, what we have realized, we need to go back to the grassroots and recruit young people in the various sporting activities that we have seen over here. It is possible. Take an example of the blind doing long jump. We need to go and recruit more athletes so that we have as many athletes to the next Olympics in US as possible.
Uganda's other runner, Piso Romas, finished 6th in the women's 1,500 T13 final with a personal best of 4 minutes, 34 seconds and 87 microseconds. Uganda sent 4 athletes to the Paris 2024 Paralympics, with a swimmer Husna Kokundakwe and paralifter Dennis Mbazira the others.
And more in sports, City Oilers Basketball Club, playing in the white jersey, has taken a 2-0 series lead in its best-of-7 race of 4 National Basketball League finals against Kampala International University Titans. This followed a hard-fought 70-64 victory achieved in large part due to the heroics of Parish Petty, who finished with a game-high 34 points. Petty's return was complemented by Fayed Bale's 13 and Titus Luwal's, who managed 10. For Kampala International University Titans, Edgar Munaba's top scored with 14, Mpia Juf expressed with 12, Peter Obleng scored 10 and Stanley Mugerwa had 8. In the women's game, Uganda Christian University's Lady Cannons won a nerve-wracking encounter against JKL Lady Dolphins 58-56 to take a 2-0 series lead. On a Daystar, player Shakira Namvubia scored only 4 points. Tracy Namugosa played brilliantly to complete the night with 17 points, with Bridget Abar and Hajara Najuko managing 12 and 9 respectively. For JKL Lady Dolphins, Brenda Ekone managed a game-high 23, Hope Akelo 10, and Jenna Sinde 12, while Evelyn Nakayinji finished, or rather Evelyn Nachiyinji finished on 9. The National Basketball League final continues on Sunday with Game 3 in both genders at the MTN Arena, Lugogo. And more in sports, Lugazi Hills Golf and Country Club member Regan Akena has emerged winner of the prestigious Johnny Walker Uganda Amateur Open men's golf that was climaxed at the Par 71 Entebbe Club. Let's have a look.
After 4 days of action, the 83rd Johnny Walker Uganda Open Amateur Men's Golf Open has climaxed at the PAS 71 Entebbe Golf Club. It was a contest that attracted 120 players but came down to 4 on the final day. Ultimately, after breathtaking final 2 holes, 20-year-old Regan Akena kept his nerve on the 18th to secure 70 points on day 4 for the overall 287. Akena, who shot 73, 73 and 71 over the past 3 rounds, was humble in victory that he credited to many factors.
I feel so great because I wouldn't have believed in it that I can make it, but finally I've made it. I would like to thank Jesus Christ because he was the only guy that made me to win this.
73, 73, 71, 70, and on a day when your colleagues failed to putt, which pressures did you go through?
I got pressure on day 2, but through the last 2 days, things were just going like as I planned. I just rested my swing and let others play their game and also play my game because I trust my game.
Joseph Chinyai, who ended in heartbreak after failing to putt before Akena sank his winning shot, finished second with 288. Titus Okong was third with 291, while Ibrahim Simakola finished fourth on 297 gross points. For the first time in the history of the Amateur Open in Uganda, the top 10 finishers have received a cash kitty of 15 million shillings to share. What follows in this Uganda brewery-sponsored golf open that has had juniors, women, seniors, and now the amateur men compete is the Pro-Am and the cash-laden professionals category.
And that brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Allow us wish you a lovely night and enjoy yourselves. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, Dorothy Namuyomba on Sign Language.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.